In my Tastyworks account, where I trade options, I have 2 accounts and 1 problem. The problem is I can't sell calls. Well, you notice that asterisk there? Technically, I can sell calls, but the premium to do so is too low. It's just not worth it. It's not worth locking into a contract for really any amount of time for the low premium that I could get selling covered calls at a strike that is at or above my cost basis. It's just not worth it. Let's take a look at my accounts in Tastyworks and see exactly why that is. You see I've got this Roth IRA with 119 shares of SPY in it, and I've got a taxable account with 373 shares of SPY in it. Because I've got more than 100 shares in each account, I should be able to sell covered calls against these shares, but it's not really worth it for me to do so because the premium that I can get is too low. You see, when selling covered calls, it's best practice to sell at or above your cost basis. And you can see in my Roth account, my cost basis on these shares is way up at $469. In my taxable account, my cost basis is $411. So let's take, for example, this taxable account where I have 373 shares at a cost basis of a little over $411. Now, I really wouldn't want to sell shares below that, so I'm going to look at selling shares at $412, which is just above my cost basis. If I come into the options chain and I look, let's say, 2 weeks out, we'll say 13 days out, October 5th. If we go up the options chain and look over here, you can see this little white tag that says 373. That's pointing out where my cost basis is on these shares, which is very handy. And of course, here's that 412 strike price. There's nothing at 411. I definitely wouldn't want to go down to 410. So 412 is the lowest I would want to go. So if I was to sell 3 calls against my 373 shares, well, 300 of them anyway, I'd be looking at 8 cents credit per contract. Lucky to get 9 if I really worked at it and got lucky with the price of SPY and the rest of today. But where the price is right now, the best I can do is probably going to be about 8 cents. If I sold 3 contracts, that's $24. Now, $24 in 2 weeks is not good return. It's not a good use of these 373 shares. You might think, well, why not just sell them anyway, even though the premium is low? After all, $24 is better than nothing. And that's true, $24 is better than nothing. But if I lock in this contract for 8 cents credit, what happens if the price of SPY goes up significantly tomorrow or next week? Well, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this. I've locked myself into this contract for 13 days at 8 cents credit. I could roll, but at that point, I'm already kind of behind the curve. I'd be much better off waiting for the price of SPY to go up and potentially getting many multiples more credit per contract. I mean, look at it this way. The 412 strike price is at a 2 delta. If the price of SPY went up to, say, a 20 delta, which is, hey, that would have to make quite a move. But let's say next week it does make this big move higher, and now my 412 strike, the same 412 strike is at a 20 delta. Well, right now the 20 delta is paying around $200 credit. And so sell 3 of those would be looking at $600. I mean, that example kind of shows just how much it's worth it or can be worth it to wait and be patient and not sell premium at this very, very low level. In my opinion, it's just not worth it to throw away the opportunity cost for what you could do with those shares if the price of SPY rallies and only getting 8 cents credit. It's just not worth it to lock it up for that amount of time. You know, maybe if it was a very short time frame, like a 3-day, and you could get 8 cents credit for 3 days, worst case scenario, then you could roll it out. But by locking it up for 2 weeks, that's just throwing away a lot of, there's a lot of chance in 2 weeks, like for SPY to move up higher and to get significantly more premium for those covered calls. So I don't want to sell covered calls at 8 cents credit. That's the bottom line. It's the same situation in my Roth account. You know, I've got a 470 strike price. If we will look at that same expiration, 470, it's almost off the chart here. I mean, it's literally, you can get nothing for it. And I certainly don't want to sell down below my cost basis. But even if we went way out in time to, let's say, 57 days out if I wanted to sell a covered call against the 470 strike. Even then, I'm only looking at 5 cents credit. With my Roth, I only have just over 100 shares, so I could only sell one of them. So it'd be $5. It's certainly not worth it for me to cap my upside, lock in those shares for all that time to earn 5 cents, one of which or more would be lost to fees. So yeah, it just doesn't make any sense at all. And so that's the situation I'm in, the kind of boring situation I'm in with these shares of SPY. And what happens when you can't sell covered calls against your shares? Well, then you wait. You wait.
Well, then you wait. You wait.
Not exciting to do this, to hold on to these shares and not sell covered calls against them. It's hard. I'm itching to do so. You see, with the wheel strategy, each time you collect 100 shares or a multiple of 100 shares, that's a golden goose. 100 shares, that's a golden goose. 199 shares, that's still one golden goose. 200 shares, now you have 2 golden geese. 300 shares, 3 golden geese. Each 100 shares is a golden goose. And I want my golden geese to lay eggs.
I want my geese to lay gold eggs for Easter.
And if it gets really hard to wait, remember this. Your boring time with the wheel, where you can't sell calls against your shares, is everyone else's every day. Every buy and hold investor out there, they're just sitting on the shares. They can't do anything with them. They can collect their dividends, reinvest them, but otherwise, they just have to sit and watch and wait. As a wheel strategy investor, well, at least when the time is right, when the value of your underlying recovers, you'll be able to sell premium against it. This is just the nature of the wheel strategy. Sometimes you have to wait. The wheel requires patience. Good things will come to those who wait for their underlying to recover. Eventually. All right, that's what I have for you in this video. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more videos on saving, investing, and early retirement. Thanks for watching.